How's it going, sports fans? Happy Football Sunday and a big congratulations to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We, as you guys know, cover the Tampa Bay Bucs, and we finally had our at-home home opener. I don't know if you can call it a home opener without any fans in the stands, but Florida National News had the opportunity to be there to cover it from start to finish. The guys came out pretty strong, a strong first half there, and we know that when we got an opportunity to talk with the coach, Bruce Arians, and players throughout the week, they wanted to build off of things that they know, major mistakes that they know that they made Sunday versus the Saints in week 1. And the biggest thing for Tom Brady was the fact that he did not want those interceptions that he threw. He was very disappointed in himself. You could see it in the postgame press conference to the point where he was just ready to move forward into a week 2 to build off of that. And then we also know the defense has had, really strong performances. They've been solid all around, but they're like, okay, we can't just get our hands on the ball and do nothing with it. We got to get our hands on the ball and do something with it. So with that being said, what was the results of today's games, and did they make those corrections over the week? Was today a better result in favor of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Well, for starters, the Bucs did pull off a victory 31-17, topping the Carolina Panthers as they hosted them earlier today at 1 p.m. And a lot of corrections were made. Now, statistically, once you guys look here, it's almost like the Panthers look better statistically. Obviously, if you look at Bridgewater's stats in comparison to Tom Brady's, but when you look at just the opportunities, how many offensive weapons Tampa Bay has. I know we've talked about this plenty before. That showed in the stats. Tom Brady threw for 217 yards versus 376 yards for Teddy Bridgewater, and this was my prediction earlier today. The Panthers falling short to the Bucs 28-31, so I wasn't too far off. The Bucs hit 31. The Panthers only were able to get 17 on the board. Now, from quarter 1 to quarter 4, like I said, the Bucs came out really strong in the first half. I say first half because they really started working their way down the field. There wasn't as many mistakes, but it was the second half where things kind of slowed down. They let off the gas in the third quarter, giving the Panthers an opportunity to catch up, because when they went into the half, the Panthers still had 0 points on the board. A significant difference for them in the fourth quarter was the fact that Christian McCaffrey got hurt with an ankle injury, and he ended up never returning to the game. But for highlights of today's game, yes, Tom Brady had a much better game. The communication between him and Mike Evans was way stronger. Brady still threw for 1 interception, which you can tell, once again, he's probably beating himself up about in the post-game press conference. But other than that, the run game for the Tampa Bay Bucs was extremely significant today. It was very present, something that we probably haven't seen much of, and a lot of that does go to Leonard Fournette, but the initial momentum starter of that was their starting their starting running back, Ronald Jones. But after Ronald Jones had a fumble, we know Coach Arians says if you can't keep the ball in your hands, you have no job. So he got sidelined for a couple plays, and then he got put back in there. But at that moment is when Leonard Fournette really took off, and you could see that he really started to find his comfort and his strides in this offense. And after the game, he said it's only going to get better from here on out. He's like, I get on Tom gets on me, but we just make each other better. Brady tells me if I'm not running hard enough, and that coming from Tom Brady is a big deal. And I'll let Brady know also, you're not releasing the ball fast enough. So you've got so much leadership on this Tampa Bay Bucs team to the point where they have an opportunity to lead each other, to step up in different moments. And I'll kind of make this comparison here to the Tampa Bay Lightning. They always have a next man up mentality, whereas the Tampa Bay Bucs, they have a next man up mentality in a way where, they're not just doing it because they lose a guy to an injury or somebody's not going to roster that day, but they have it in a sense where there's so much leadership on that team that if there's a specific guy that's just kind of, getting tired or holding back or just kind of worn down or gets defeated, you've got so much leadership there to where somebody else can step in and lift that team up. Now, we talked a lot about energy and the guys having to create the energy and the atmosphere in the stadium. I will say the stadium was still pretty quiet today. I mean, I'm obviously nowhere near the field. I'm up in the press box, but it was still a lot more quiet than I expected, especially because last week Coach Arians said, it's definitely going to be different than how the Saints had it. The Saints had it way too quiet to the point where it was eerie. If you guys were able to check in pregame, you would know that Chris Godwin was out, but Mike Evans showed up a lot today. He had 7 receptions, and then following up behind him was Justin Watson having a bit of a breakout performance for the 2020 season already. There was one play in particular where Brady handed off the ball to Fournette, and Fournette pitched it back to Brady, and then Brady chucked it down the field to Justin Watson, and that was such, a big play for the Tampa Bay Bucs to get them closer to the end zone, and at that point, Fournette ran in a touchdown off of the 1-yard line. So there was a lot of good things that the Bucs did today, but leave it to their leader. and captain Tom Brady after the game in his post-game press conference to say, look, it was a good game. It's nice to win at home, but we still have a lot more work to do, and we're going to get right back to work straight first thing tomorrow morning. So we'll rest up. We'll enjoy this tonight, but he's already turning the page as of the minute that he took off that jersey, got into his warm-up or his chill clothes or whatever you want to call them. He's already focused on what they're going to do. So if you guys didn't see, they hit the road once again, and they take on the Denver Broncos this Sunday at 4:25 p.m. More importantly, Brady was saying, we didn't win our first home game. So if anything, that's his priority right now. He wants to get back to the drawing board. He wants to make sure they have a strong practice this week, but more importantly, he wants to make sure that they get their first road win versus the Denver Broncos. And guys, I think they can take it. The Broncos are still kind of trying to get some things together, but as you guys know, I'll give you my weekly predictions. I was excited to not be disappointed this week for my prediction. It was so close. I mean, if anything, I kind of give the Panthers a little too much credit. No, I'm just totally kidding. But stick with us. Make sure that you guys check in with us at my typical show days, Tuesdays and Fridays at 8 p.m. This is a wrap on Bucs coverage for us today. Congratulations once again to the Tampa Bay Bucs and their first W under their belt at home with Tom Brady. And we will catch you guys Tuesday at 8 p.m., Friday at 8 p.m., and then next Sunday for pregame as well as postgame coverage of the Tampa Bay Bucs away at home. You guys have a fantastic rest of your Sunday football and weekend. Adios.